teacher, do you believe that there is a time and space from this point forward where you are more than just the teacher, the leader, the administrator, or whatever your role is? Because if you don't believe it, you'll never step into it. But let me tell you about someone who did. I'm going to tell you about this man. And this is recent. This was like yesterday when this happened. This man went to prison. He was in prison at the age of 16, all the way up until he's been out now for almost 2 years, and he's 38 years of age. So he was in prison for 20 years. He's coming up on his 2 year anniversary of being free. He went to prison for armed robbery and attempted murder. He spent nearly 20 years behind bars, no degree, no high school diploma, no certifications, no skills whatsoever. Imagine going to prison at 16. He didn't have any skills, no formal skills, that is. And when he got out just a year and a half ago, do you think that he was worried about whether or not he was qualified? Nope. He got out. Let me tell you what happened. He walked into his purpose. He started telling his story. People are saying, hey, how you doing? All that type of stuff. He started telling his story. Someone asked him to speak to their son who was heading down the wrong path. Said, hey, I'd love if you can have a conversation with my son. It was a mom. And he spoke to the boy. Now, this is as told by the ex-convict who's been in jail, in prison for 20 years. So he spoke to the boy, told him, you don't want this life, you don't want this path. And a couple of months later, the mom reported back to him the son was doing better. He was making better decisions. He was doing his homework, going to school, not skipping school so much anymore. Okay, cool. So then word began to get around, and someone else asked him to speak to their son. He went, spoke to their son, and he realized this time that his experiences were valuable, and he asked to be paid. He said, I can take the time out to come do it, but I'm going to need gas money to get over there, and I'm not going to be able to do the thing that I was planning to do. So if you'll give me gas money and buy me something to eat, I'll come over. I'll spend a couple of hours with him. I'll talk to him, answer any questions that he has, and hopefully it'll make a difference. The mom was like, no problem. We can make it happen. She was very gracious for it. She bought him a full tank of gas and gave him, I think he said she gave him like $40 to get something to eat. So altogether, she paid him like $100. Now, here's where it gets real. This is where it gets really real. He now gets paid $2,500 for a 1 hour speech to schools and in community-based organizations. He has now landed a $30,000 mentorship contract with the juvenile system, the same people who had him locked up for the past 20 years. He has built in 1 year and a half. He is not even at his 2 year anniversary. His 2 year anniversary isn't until August. This man has built a full-time business, sharing his past failures and bad decisions. It's what it's totally based around, and turning them into lessons for other people. I want you to listen to that again. This man has created a full-time business that totally supports him, and he makes more than most of the people that he knows by sharing all of his bad decisions, all of his bad choices, all of the things that he did wrong, all of his failures, and telling other people not to do what I did. He's literally getting paid to talk about the mistakes that he made in his life. Now, let's talk about you. Let's talk about you. You're an educator. You're a leader. You're a professional. You've taught kids how to read. You've turned schools around. You've built strong cultures in schools, in buildings, in organizations. You've created programs. You've developed curriculums. You've led teams. You have coached teachers. You've trained staff. You have created true impact. Yet you are sitting there doubting yourself. Oh my God, this has to be like a parallel universe or something. You're overthinking. Like you're overthinking this whole thing. You're worried about what people are going to say. Stop it, please. You are scared to tell people they need to pay you. They're calling you talking about, can you tutor my son? Can you tell me what to say when I go to this conference? These teachers trying to go after my kid, and you're giving them advice, you're giving them steps, you're giving them recommendations, you're giving them strategies, but you won't ask to be paid for it because you're afraid of what somebody's going to think. You're afraid that they're not going to like you. You're afraid of a no. Make it make sense, people. Make it make sense. An ex-convict with no credentials, with no degrees, with no formal training has more confidence in his abilities than you do. Come on now. Make this make sense, y'all. Make this make sense. I talked to this lady. This lady was a VP, a vice president of a major bank. She has done all types of things. She's written several books, and she's not getting paid for her services. And guess what? She didn't ask. When she pitched her services, when she talks to people, she makes it sound like she's going to work for free. So they think she works for free. Y'all, come on now. Let me tell you what the difference is. There is just one simple difference, folks. And I'm sorry, if you're with me live, give me a hey, what's up, what's going on? And if you're catching this in the replay, give me a hashtag replay. And if you got a question, put it in the comments. Honey, I'm more than happy to answer your questions. How many people literally come online, say, I'm willing to share my expertise? See, I do this because I know y'all don't know. You've been in the school system so long, or in the corporate world that you work in, you've had your head down working hard for so long, you don't even know that you can get paid for what it is you do. So I come here and I share a couple of hours every week, just trying to help you all to see the vision, your vision, not my vision, because some of y'all are in misery. Some of y'all are working jobs that you don't want to work anymore. Some of y'all are just plain and simple too talented, too skilled, and too great not to be sharing this with a bigger portion of the world. I'm just saying. The difference with the ex-convict is that he had belief. He believed his story had value. He believed he deserved to be paid. He asked for opportunity. And that's what you all won't do. So, what are you going to do? Really, what are you going to do? This is what you got to understand. If he can turn his lived experiences into a profitable business, what's stopping you from turning your experience, your expertise, and your impact into a thriving business? What's stopping you? The time for hesitation is over. Like, stop hesitating. It's time to make a move. It's time to show up, and it's time to start positioning yourself as the expert that you already are. You already are an expert. Some of you all have worked with hundreds of students, thousands of students. You've led several teams. You've turned 2 and 3 buildings around. You've created multiple curriculums. You've written several books. You've spoke at several, like, you have real experience, you have real expertise. When I was listening to this story, all I was thinking about was you all. I said, now here this guy has done nothing but made bad decisions his whole life. Like, I would love to insert the clip so that you can see it, but I think YouTube them will take me down or something. But he is literally telling you, I made all bad decisions. I didn't go to school. I skipped school. I talked back to my mama. I was stealing. I was doing this. I was doing that. Then when I went to prison, I was still doing the same crazy stuff in prison. And I got paroled after 20 years. My time was up, and they let me out. And that's crazy. Like, all bad decisions. You didn't hear any good decisions in that. And he will tell you he's made bad decisions all his life. And so he had to own the fact that he makes bad decisions, and he needs to do the opposite of what it is that he's thinking. And these bad decisions led him to a life of nothing. And if you don't want a life of nothing, don't do what I did. If you don't want to get killed in the streets, don't do what I did. If you don't want to go to jail for 20 or 30 years of your life, don't do what I did. He told them how when he got out of jail, his mother was almost 60 years old. He missed all those years. He talked about how you don't want to talk behind the glass. And he told them how they're taking away visitation in prisons. You don't want to do this. He told them how you don't want to eat this food that I had to eat. Y'all, this is what he's getting paid for. This is what he's getting paid for. $2,500 to do a 1 hour speech. The very people who you say don't have money, the school systems are paying him. The school systems are paying him to come in. They pay him, cut him a check for $2,500 to do speeches. This man had so many people asking for his services that he created a mentorship program that he's now selling to juvenile systems. $30,000. He goes there twice a week for 12 weeks. So 24 visits for $30,000. Y'all not y'all not gonna tell me. Look, it's stop waiting for permission. If this does not resonate with you, you mean to tell me that an ex-convict, a criminal, has more confidence in his abilities, has more. Look, I just can't even fathom this. Is this resonating with anybody? Is this making sense? Can you at least give me something in the chat to let me know that I'm not just wasting my breath? Just say something in the chat, because you got to stop waiting for permission. You got to stop worrying about what people are going to think, and you got to stop undervaluing yourself. It's time to step up. It's time for you to package your expertise and to get paid for what it is you already do. You don't even have to go out and create a new skill. Ladies, you're already doing this. Gentlemen, what is wrong with you? This is what you already do. You already have a skill that you are being paid to do because you're in a contract or a work agreement and they're paying you to do it. Obviously, it's valuable. So why is it that you're afraid to package it up and sell it for yourself? Come on now. You're going to let an ex-convict get paid to share his pain that he experienced from all of his bad decisions, but you don't think that what you have is valuable. That's right. She said, you were saying the fact. I need us to understand people will pay you for this. People will pay you for what it is you do. And more than likely, right now, you're already doing it for free. People are already calling you saying, girl, let me run this by you. People are already saying, well, can you help? People are already saying, you should volunteer for this. Can you volunteer to help us? Can you sit on this committee? Y'all love when people ask y'all to sit on committees. Y'all love it, but you don't see it as free labor. That's what they're doing. That's why they're coming to you to ask you, because it's free labor. They know that you have the skills and expertise to take their organization to the next level, to give them insight that they didn't think about, to help them to strategize. But they know that you're willing to work for free, but they will go and pay somebody else to do it. You never ask to be paid. You never let them know that this is a skill that you get paid for. You never get to say, oh, I have a business that does that. Let me send you some information on how you can work with me, because you're afraid of what they're going to think. And then the other thing is, y'all so worried about what the school going to say. Why are you worried about what a job is going to say? That job is not the boss of you. That job does not run your life. You give that job the hours that job said you're to be there, from 7 to 3, 8 to 4, 9 to 5, whatever it is. And then your life is your life. Y'all give these jobs too much authority over your life. Just like when you're asking, can you go to a doctor's appointment? Are you crazy? You are grown as all get out. Why are you asking permission to go to a doctor's appointment? That does not make sense. Why are you worried about if you miss a day, you're going to get in trouble? What? Are we serious here? We have allowed these school systems to have too much dominion over our lives. I can't post to social media because somebody at my job might see it. Why is the job even on your Facebook, social media, whatever it is? Why are they even on there? Again, you go to work to work. Stop saying I'm going to school. You're not going to school. You are going to work. And you need to treat it as work. When you talk about the kids, those are not your kids. Those are students. And they have parents, whether they're good parents or bad parents, that is not your business. They have parents, and those parents have responsibilities, and it's not your job to step in and to take the responsibility off the parent. I'm just saying, this is why we can't move forward, because we are so consumed with the school system and trying to get a pat on the back for your principal to say, oh, she did a good job. Oh, you want to be like Miss So-and-so. Oh, you know, Miss So-and-so is the best in the building. Why are you looking for accolades? Why do you need somebody to pat you on your back to tell you that you're doing a good job? Why is that necessary? That's something that you need to dig down inside yourself to figure out, because what I'm going to tell you is that these ex-convicts, this is not the only one. This is just a story that I chose to share. These ex-convicts are out here getting paid in the very school system that you complaining about. These ex-convicts, somebody who has no skills, no degrees. Why did you go to school to get all those degrees and certifications if you didn't expect to get paid and get paid well? Why do you want to be an expert? You done written 2, 3, 4 books and you haven't sold any because first of all, you haven't asked anybody to buy them. You haven't told anybody you're selling them. You were so busy with writing the book, you thought that that was the accomplishment because you're so used to working, doing tasks instead of being an expert and getting paid for your expertise. I just need us to make this shift. Is there a universe? Answer this question. Is there a universe where you are more than what you are today? Does that universe exist? Just be honest with yourself and don't sit and lie to yourself. Is there a universe where you are doing something more than what you're doing today, something different than what you're doing today? Can you see yourself living an alternate reality than what you live now? That's where it all has to start, because quite frankly, the ex-convict, when he came out, like, he was looking for a job. He was looking for a job, and he said he was trying to get on the straight and narrow. But then when he was asked to do these things and people were steady asking him about his story, he said, oh, this is of interest to people. And he was willing to ask to get paid. You're not even willing to request payment because you're afraid of what people are going to think, how they're going to perceive you, who you're going to let down. You worried about they're going to think I'm broke. You have the wrong mindset. You have the mindset of a poor person. Poor people try to impress people. People who are confident in themselves and their abilities, they understand that what I do is valuable and it's something that I'm not doing for free. So I really want us to really think about this. And I want you to really think about this ex-convict who has been in prison for 20 years, who is right now out here on these streets, making money, doing the thing, getting paid with lots of free time. $2,500 in 1 month for one ex-convict is more than they would make every week working 40 hours as an ex-convict. Think about that. So one speaking engagement, but he's already secured the bag. He has his contracts that pays him $30,000 to go into the juvenile system. That's more than what most people make. He's only been out a year and a half. He comes up on his 2-year anniversary in August. He is thrilled. He is elated. He is excited. And he sees the bigger picture. He's like, okay, they're going to pay me to do this. Let's crank this thing up. Let's turn it up. Let me go and pitch to some more people. He tells you that he had to pitch to about 10 different organizations before one said yes. He said after that one said yes, he went in and did it. He got video of him doing it. And then that gave him the ability to go talk to other people. He was willing to take the no's. Why are you afraid of the no? Why are you afraid of a little rejection? Why are you afraid to say, hey, I'm good at this? He realized when he's telling these stories about what happened in prison, people are listening. Their eyes are glazed. They're like, oh my God. I was listening. My eyes were glazed. And I was saying to myself, I was thinking something different because I was thinking to myself, so these people are paying you good money to talk about the horrible things you did to people, the horrible things that have happened to you, the bad decisions that you've made, all of these things. This is what he's getting paid for. And here you are, a skilled, credentialed, degreed professional who has done things. You have saved people. You have saved generations of people. You have taught students how to read. You have helped people with ADHD. You have provided confidence. You have provided growth. You done all types of stuff. Some of us done created curriculums. Some of us have created whole programs. Whole programs, them same programs that you created in that school, those are the same programs that you can sell to other schools. We got to be out of our minds. We got to be out of our minds. If we believe that ex-convicts can come out and sell let me tell you about another lady. Another lady, she was the wife of a prisoner, and she called herself the prisoner wife. And she helps women who have husbands who are in prison to deal with them when they come out. This lady got a book. I kid you not. It's called The Prisoner's Wife. She has a book, she does speaking engagements, and she does woman empowerment for women who have husbands who are in prison. They're not going to leave their husband. It's a market for it. Anything that you're doing, there's somebody else who needs your support. There's a market for it. This woman wrote books. This woman works in the mental health department, and they call her in to speak to the wives, because the wives are going to be the ones to try to help the husbands to stay out of prison. They pay her under a recidivism grant. No skill, let me not say no skill. Let me take that back, because she has skill. But she is not, she works a regular job. She doesn't have any multiple degrees. She doesn't have any other things that you all have, but what she does have is belief, and she does it even scared. And she was willing to tell her story. Half of y'all ain't even willing to tell your story. You're not even willing to talk about the thing that gets you going. I'm willing to talk about it. And you all apparently were willing to listen, because I told you I was at that school and I was doing what I needed to do. I had turned the school around, but you know what I didn't like? I didn't like having to write everything down before I went to the grocery store and couldn't put anything in basket. That made me mad. I didn't like seeing people who were not as smart as I am, who were living a better life than me, and quite frankly, working less, and they living it up. These are people who don't are not couldn't put a needle, couldn't put a piece of fire to me. And I was like, what do they have that I don't have? Why am I over here struggling, robbing Peter to pay Paul? Why is it that I can't get ahead? Why is it that it looks good on the outside, but it doesn't feel good on the inside? Why is it that all of my days are spent in a school system, including on Saturday and Sunday? Why is it that I'm feeling, all of this, these feelings of guilt and remorse and things that I have to do that I don't want to do? Why I got to do that? Why can't I just do the things I'm good at and get paid for that? Because I wasn't willing to take a risk. I was willing to stay there. And then what do? We say, oh, well, I'm just going to go to a different school system. You go to the different school system and you end up with the same problems, just in a different dress. And then you say, oh, well, I'm just going to go over to central office. I'm talking about myself now. I say, I'm just going to go over to central office and maybe that'll be less. No, now I ain't just got to deal with my 55 teachers. Now I got to deal with all of the teachers in the district. So now I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't want to do that. Then they said, well, Chanel, you should become an assistant superintendent of curriculum and instruction, because you a beast with curriculum and instruction. And I was like, yeah, let's do that. And then I started going on those interviews, and then I realized I'm giving myself more work. Like, I'm getting more of the stuff that I didn't want. And I was like, no, I got to do something different. Y'all, this is my truth. I didn't like having to keep a smile on my face, that fake smile that we have to put on our face when we walk into the school system, because we don't want people to think that we mad or we angry. You can't have real emotions. You got to show up even when your mama died. You got to show up to work 3 days later. Your husband died. You got to show up 3 days later. Y'all, this is crazy. I had to believe that there was an alternate universe where those were not the things that I had to do. I had to believe that there was another reality where I could live the life that I truly believe that I deserve. And I also had to believe that this is not what God intended for me. Like, this is what I had to do. I had to believe this can't be what God wrote about, or these stories that they tell in that good book called the Bible. The Bible didn't say thou shalt be in misery. The Bible didn't say thou shalt struggle all their lives. The Bible didn't say thou shalt work yourself into the ground. The Bible didn't say thou shalt not rest. And I was like, I'm doing something wrong. So I need to do something totally different, because this is crazy. This is crazy. Okay. And so when I believed that there was an alternate reality where I can be something more than a building leader, I can be something different than a principal, I can live the life that I want, I can have the things that I believe, but it's going to require something of me. And then I had to figure out what that something was. But before I could figure it out, I had to start doing it and stop just sitting back complaining. Stop just sitting back thinking, oh my God, I don't want to do this. They make me sick. I can't wait till the day. I did that for 2 years and it didn't take me anywhere. And that's when I realized I'm going to keep signing this contract if I don't do something different. I signed it the 1 year. My life was hell. It was misery. The next year came, I signed it again. But the whole while, all I was doing was complaining. All I was doing, I was like, I don't want to do this. This is not what I want to do. I don't want to go to work. I'm taking days off. I'm doing all of the things. I'm still robbing Peter to pay Paul. Some of y'all work in summer school. Even though you hate the school year during the school year, you will sign up to work extra month to make that little money instead of betting on yourself, creating your program, packaging it, and selling it, and make more money than you would have made in that month. I'm just saying, that's all I got, y'all. I ain't got no more. But I want you to drop a comment if you're ready to stop playing small. Drop me some fire if you're ready to stop playing small. You got to be ready. I can't make you be ready. But what I can tell you is that there is a universe, a way where you can do the thing that you want to do and you can get paid for. But you got to believe that that is possible. You got to believe that what you have is valuable, and you got to believe that people will pay you for it, because I'm here to tell you they will. I'm going to do one day where I tell y'all all of the crazy stuff people are getting paid to do. It's crazy to me, but it's not crazy to the people who need it. But I hope this helps. If you missed it, go back and watch the beginning of this live so you can see what this ex-convict is getting paid.